Last week we put out a video where I gave you guys some tips and tricks on how to add a little bit of flavor to your tags. But in today's video, I want to warn you guys about 3 different things that new graffiti artists do to their tags that make their hand styles look worse. Let me know your guys' list in the comments down below, but we're going to get started with number 1, and that's letter distortions. New graffiti artists love to overcomplicate letters. And this is something I see really often. They'll take the letter R and they'll turn that thing into an unrecognizable mess, trying to copy something that they've seen Saber do, or trying to copy something that they've seen Rhyme or Revoke do. They'll try to overcomplicate the simplest things. And what a lot of new graffiti artists don't realize is there's beauty in simplicity. In fact, it's necessary. Letters are a certain way. A letter structure functions a certain way, and in order to write that letter, you have to actually have that letter's structure present. So if you distort this structure way too much, then by the end of it, you're not even writing the letter you intended to write. And you'll be surprised at how often this happens. This happens with most new graffiti artists. In fact, many of you new graffiti artists watching right now are probably guilty of this very thing. And what separates the advanced graffiti artists from the amateur graffiti artists who both attempt the same distortions of letters is the fact that the advanced graffiti artist is able to not only maintain the letter's structure throughout all of those distortions and stylizations, but they also maintain all of the other fundamentals. So even in the case where you have an amateur who copies something successfully, let's say they do a one-to-one recreation of Revoke's R, well, the amateur graffiti artist won't have that letter flow with anything else. Its weight will be completely thrown off. The negative space management in comparison to the other letters won't match, and likely this more stylized letter is going to encompass more space, and as a result, its positioning is going to be different than all of the other letters as well. So they've literally sacrificed every single one of graffiti's fundamentals for the sake of the single letter that none of the other letters can match. And as you can imagine, that doesn't really work out in their best interest. So number 2, we have adding way too much around your tag. They'll add quotation marks, a crown, which is a whole different thing they definitely shouldn't be doing, an underline, and bubbles all around their tag all at the same time. And it's like, dude, you don't need all that much. Like, sure, you can certainly have all that and make it function, but if you're an amateur, you're not going to have that prerequisite knowledge to make that happen. This goes right back to the whole entire concept of less is more. We want our hand style to be the main focus of our tag, right? We want our name to be the main focus. You'll be surprised at how much weight these exterior details can add, and they're not always necessary. They don't always benefit. And that's really the key here. Exterior details are useless by nature, and as a result, we have to have a purpose for them to exist. An experienced graffiti artist finds a reason for these things to exist, and therefore they look more cohesive in the grand scheme of the tag. A less experienced artist throws these things on there, and as a result, it looks more tacked on because these exterior details don't have a purpose to exist in their hand style specifically. In fact, the only reason these exterior details were added was because the amateur graffiti artists perceived some kind of void in their tag, something that they felt was missing, as they like to put it, and they tried to fill that void with exterior details, not realizing what was missing was the fundamentals. Also, dudes, we made a digital sketchbook that you can download for free over on the store. I'm really excited about it. I already got a few of you guys' sketches in there, so if you want to get in on that, download it in the description down below. I'm really excited about the whole thing, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Moving on to number 3, the next one is stylizing every single letter. What a lot of new graffiti artists haven't yet learned is different letters have different amounts of style just baked into their natural structure. A great example of this is the letter O versus the letter X, or the letter Z, or the letter S, E, R, K. All of these letters have a lot more style than something like your just normal letter O. And as a result of this, each letter reacts to style differently when you add style to it. So if we add just a drop of style to the letter O, that style has drastic effects on the letter O because the letter O doesn't have a lot of style to begin with. But if we add that same drop of style to the letter R, it doesn't really have all that much of an effect because the R already has a lot of style. So if you go ahead and you stylize every single letter in your tag, then you're likely bound to lose flow because of how each letter individually is reacting to the amount of style you implemented. When you add on top of that newer graffiti artists don't yet understand the fundamentals to begin with, so they've made fundamental errors on top of adding a bunch of style, suddenly what you have is a domino effect of problems that ends up in your hand styles. The key to fix all 3 of these different problems is to keep it simple, practice the basics. Who saw that coming? I know everybody did, and that didn't take anybody off guard. Truly, honestly, if you learn the fundamentals, you will be able to naturally get style. It is the only way to get style, as a matter of fact. And if you want to learn those very fundamentals, check out the best How to Do Graffiti playlist anywhere online right here. And while you're at it, check out the bundle book we made, which helps jumpstart your graffiti pieces. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys back here next week.